Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. We're getting back into the Cthulhu Mythos once again, this time by DVG, as we're playing the Cards of Cthulhu by DVG. The goal in this game is to go through this entire deck, and I've got the expansion shuffled in at this point as well. I'll use my Cthulhu Flux token to mark which cult I'm going after. We're playing as the Gambler today. So we'll see if Lady Luck is riding with us. We may roll 1 die before drawing cards. On a 1 or a 2, suffer a wound. 5 to 6, gain 4 experience. We also start with 4 experience, which I've got down here. And we'll go through the new expansion stuff as that comes out. I'll bring the coins over on this side. So before we draw cards for the first turn, I will go ahead and roll dice. And roll a die. That's a 4, so nothing happens there. Okay, so we get our first batch of cards. I'll start from this. Let's do it this way. I'll organize these cards. Actually, this is fine. I'll just bring the decks down. I'll put a discard pile out of the way. So we draw 4 cards at the start of every turn. So the first 4 cards, as I'm trying not to trip over the power cable. We've got Amigo going to Cthulhu. We've got the Journalist coming out. An Investigation. And a Gate to Arwasa, which will draw a card. Which will draw another card. Another Migo going to Cthulhu's board. We want to make sure the board is clear when we go through the entire deck. So those 2 minions go there. Now, we've also got investigations that we can do. We've got the Journalist that we can recruit for 1 coin. And when you slay a horror, draw and discard 1 card. Whoever said the pen was mightier than the sword never had to fight a creature like this. We've got the Marshes of Dunwich, which is an investigation that comes from the Beyond the Veil expansion. A webbed hand reaches toward you from the murky depths. You lash out with the paddle, striking for its misshapen head. Investigate 8 is what we need to clear it. Danger 1, save, gain 2 experience for every gate in play. Suffer a wound and pay 2 experience, then discard this card. Gross! I think we almost have to go after that. So we will recruit the Journalist for... We'll recruit the Journalist for 1 experience, and then we'll put everything... We will put... Do I want to spend a die? Yeah, I think I will spend a coin to get one of the white spirit dice. And then I'm going to go after the investigation. So on these dice, this is our body die. We don't want to roll a 1 on that to get wounded. These are our health dice, the green dice, and then white is our spirit die. We can get up to 3 of those, potentially 4 with an item. So we are going for the Marshes of Dunwich. We're going to have to leave the 2 Migo on Cthulhu's board for the time being. Although we could hurry if we wanted to do that, but let's see what happens first. Okay, so we do get the 8 that we needed to clear that. So that means we get to keep this card. I'm pretty sure that's what save means. Let me look here. Credits, those are scenarios. Yeah, I believe if it says save, we keep the card. So, yep, you can use it when it's needed in the future. So we gain 2 experience for every gate in play. Is that just a one-off and then it's discarded? We have rerolls available, so we actually do gain save to gain 2 experience. I'm trying to see what the save means. You can use it when needed in the future. So it looks like we're able to just trigger that. That's what I see here. Here we go, actually. So we've got a... Looks like in the example of play, one of the... Do they go through the investigation? The Awake Major Horror. Investigate the house behind Meadow Hill. You can save the investigation's benefit to use whenever you choose. Okay, so it looks like we just keep that and use it whenever we need it. So, we do have the option if we want to go after Cthulhu's board, but I don't think I'm going to do that when I would need all of my dice for that. So we'll draw again. Actually, I'm going to use the spirit die, or the body die, to see if Lady Luck's riding with us. Lady Luck's not doing anything, so we're drawing 4 more cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3. We've got another investigation coming up. So we'll send our first card to Nyarlathotep's board. That's really the big new thing with the expansion. We've got Amigo going to our Wass's board. We actually do get 1 more card. We've got 2 monsters going to Chognar Foggin's board. The investigation at Christchurch Cemetery. A disease is sweeping through the local area, leaving more dead than the undertakers can embalm. Something else is moving through the area, making use of this oversight. Investigate 8, Danger 1. Discard a minion, any one minion from each cult board. Followers cost 1 extra experience to purchase until the end of the game. Well, I definitely don't want that, so we are going to roll for that. We are going to make that our action, and I will spend a coin to get a spirit die. Let's see what we're doing here. Perfect. Well, 1 on the spirit die isn't consequential. We don't want to see a 1 on the bonus die. 4 and 4 is 8, though. This lets us discard discard 1 minion from each cultist board, from each cult board. So that'll get me that'll clear Nyarlathotep's gate. That'll let me clear Nyarlathotep and our Wass's boards, and it'll get Amigo off Cthulhu's board as well. And we are going to roll a die once again for Lady Luck. That's a 2, so that'll suffer a wound, which means I'll lose 1 of my health dice. Unfortunate, and we're drawing cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Gross. So we've got a Bayaki going to Cthulhu's board. We've got the house behind Meadow Hill. Zathagora going to Yog-Sothoth's board. 1 going to our Wass's board. And a dynamite that we could buy for 5 coins in our dreams. Discards to roll a 5-die attack against any one cult board or investigation. We're going to have to let that go by the wayside. But the house behind Meadow Hill. What's the danger on that? Place a follower on top of the draw deck, then discard this card. Fortunately, we don't have... Well, the house has sat vacant for years. Heavy dust covers the surfaces and the musty smell of decay invades your lungs with every breath. Investigate 3, Danger 1. Save. Discard any one minion on each cult board or 3 or more minions. Place a follower on top of the draw deck, then discard this card. So that actually wouldn't do anything right now. We would need 3 to heal that. I think we actually do gain... we might not gain experience if we complete investigations. I think we gain the benefit on the card. Yes. Okay, so we only gain the benefit of the card. So... yeah, that follower doesn't do anything right now, which means we can actually go deal with minions on the board. I think we're going to put an attack on Chognar Foggin's board, because I do want to try to get that healing die. I do want to try to get that that other health die back. So we need a 2 and a 5. Which we do not get, but we do get a 3. I'll use that on the cultist to at least get 1 experience back. But we're not completing the investigation. but there are no followers there, so we do get an experience back. When you slay a horror, draw and discard one card. So it looks like we just flip over a card. We're flipping over, a Gate to Nyarlathotep. That's a great card to draw and discard. Okay. So we're about to draw another round of cards. Let's see what we can do with Lady Luck. That's a 5, so now we gain 4 experience. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We're drawing 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We've got a Yog-Sothoth power, a Nyarlathotep power, a deep one going to Yog-Sothoth, an otherworldly idol, and a cultist going to Nyarlathotep. So Yog-Sothoth's first cult power is pay 1 experience to roll combat dice against this cult board. If we got another one, we have to pay 2 experience. Nyarlathotep pays 2 extra experience, is forcing us to pay 2 extra experience to cast a Seal Gate spell on this cult board. Then the second one is pay 4 extra experience to cast a Seal Gate Seal Gate spell on this board. We've got that going to Yog-Sothoth, and the otherworldly idol will get discarded. I'll pay 3 experience to get the other body die back, or to get the other health die back. Who do I want to make an attack on? Let's make an attack on Cthulhu's board. We've got a 6 and a 3 up there. And I'm going to keep the 3 experience in case I need to get coins. In case I need to get a green die back. Which I do not, but that was a terrible roll. I'll use all 3 of those to take out the Migo, which will give me 1 coin back. So I'll get 1 experience back for that. Thankfully, we didn't have to pay a coin to declare an attack on Cthulhu's board. We'll try again on the Gambler. That's a 2, so we're suffering a wound again. Great. This is why I sat on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, we didn't slay a horror, so I'm not going to worry about that. We've got a deep one going to Chognar Foggin, a Gate to Cthulhu, Gate to Arwasa, Cultist to Cthulhu, and an Investigation. So we've got 2 more cards coming out. We've got a Zathagora going to Nyarlathotep, and a Melting Flesh spell. So that's going to Nyarlathotep. We've got 2 gates to Arwasa. We've got a Gate to Cthulhu now. A deep one going to Chognar Foggin, and a Cultist to Cthulhu, along with the Melting Flesh spell we're not buying, that's for sure. We are going to spend the 3 experience to get the body die back. Yikes. So the Asylum at Sefton, you carefully push the door inward but an inch when something wrenches from your hand and an unholy howl rises out of the blackness. That's an Investigate 11, Danger 3, so a 3 on the body die, a 3 on the red die would cause a wound. At least if I'm reading that correctly. Let's see here. Just double checking that. Let's see here. Bottom power is now in effect for the board. Okay. You suffer the investigation's negative. If you roll a danger on the follower's die, that follower is slain. For some reason I thought that was... Oh no, if you roll a danger value or lower on your investigator's body die, you do suffer a wound. Okay, that was what I thought. So, I think we will pay the 1 experience to get a coin, or pay the 1 experience to get another extra spirit die, because I am going to go for the Asylum at Sefton. We need this to be an 11 without a 3 or lower on the red die. which that is a 3 or lower. We will take out the investigation. We'll save that when we need to discard a horror, but we do suffer a wound. So that'll lose me that card. Then we're going to roll for Gambler before we start drawing cards again. That's a 2, so we're suffering another wound, which means we're down to 1 at this point. We're now drawing... Uh-oh. This could be catastrophic. So we're drawing 1, 2, 3, 7 cards. Gross, gross, gross. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got a Bayaki going to Yog-Sothoth, a Doctor who could potentially come in, a Gate to Nyarlathotep, Gate to Yog-Sothoth, another Investigation, Amigo going to Chognar-Foggen, and a Disruption Ritual. So we need 2 more cards for the 2 gates. Occultist Leader going to Chognar-Foggen, and a big Cypress Swamp. So let's sort these all out. Gate going to Nyarlathotep, that also costs 2 extra experience. Gate to Yog-Sothoth, and we've got to pay an experience to mount an attack on Yog-Sothoth. Cultist Leader to Chognar-Foggen, Migo to Chognar-Foggen, 2 investigations, and a Disruption Ritual, which would let me draw 1 less Cultist card this turn if I were to spend it, but I don't have the experience, so I've got to let it go. Well, I think we need the... I think we're gonna let the Doctor go. Then we've got a Bayaki coming over to Yog-Sothoth. So we're going to assign the Journalist to the Big Cypress Swamp. Actually, yeah, well, we've only got the 1 die, so I think we're going to go after the Big Cypress Swamp. And I think we're going to have to let the Whisperings of Innsmouth go. We need experience badly. But we also need a 4 or higher without a 1 on the red die to succeed. That's a 2, so we fail. Unfortunately, that means we do discard the Journalist, and we're drawing an extra cult card this turn. So we've got problems galore. Yikes. So I'm going to leave that with the deck. The problem here is I'm kind of trapped. Actually, you know what? Now is probably a good time as any to use the Marshes of Dunwich, where I will gain 10 experience. So that'll give me 10, which I can then cast two healings to regain my lost body, my lost health dice. And now before the turn, I am going to roll to see if I can get more experience. I do. I get another 4 experience. So I might actually be able to do something this turn. But let's see what we're drawing. So we would normally draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10. We're drawing 10 cultist cards? That's a big problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We just never could really get the gates under control. We've got Shantax that are going to be a major horror on Nyarlathotep's board. Deep One's going to Yog-Sothoth. Uh-oh. Another Whisperings of Innsmouth. That is a lot more dangerous. A Bayaki going to Chognar-Foggen. A Madman potentially coming out. A Chognar-Foggen Power. A Cursed Temple. A Deep One going to Arwasa. Amigo to Nyarlathotep. And a Minor Horror for Yog-Sothoth. So let's sort out what we've got here. So we've got Major Horror going to Nyarlathotep. Deep One to Yog-Sothoth. A Bayaki to Chognar-Foggen. The Power for Chognar-Foggen, which has gained no experience for value 2 to 4 minions on the cult board. So we can't use any magic spells this turn. We were doing that before before the turn started. Amigo to Nyarlathotep, which actually I think this horror is just going to be awakened. Right? Well, let's get all of this sorted out. That horror will probably also be awakened. And we've got a deep one going to Arwasa's board. I think we're going to let the Madman go. Yeah, we're going to let the Madman go here. Actually, no, we're not. So before checking for danger, add 1 to his investigation die roll. He's finally free. Well, we'll find out if he's still free soon enough. So, I think there's a different spell that I could use. Not here, apparently. Actually, I don't think I'm not using spells this turn anyway. So what am I discarding here? Or what am I doing this turn? Nothing good from the looks of it. Actually, let me check for the... Okay, during this step, so we placed everything out, placed cult powers, we awaken horrors. So, at this point, yeah, Okay, so, yeah, we have So the horror that just came out for Nyarlathotep, the Shantaks are awake, as is Nygathan Zaum on Yog-Sothoth's board. So we suffer a sanity loss We suffer sanity loss equal to the most powerful awake horror on the board. So that is 3 dice. Three experience, I should say. I think we're going to have to let the Whispers of Innsmouth go. And where do we want to attack? Whoop. Come here. I forget we've got rerolls too. I should probably remember that. Let's see, the combos are... So we need some kind of combo, it looks like. That's a 3 dice combo, which I believe is going to use a... Okay, so either a 3 of a kind or a straight. But it's also easier to get wounded on if we go to Nyarlathotep's board, because they mean we suffer a wound on a 3. So... You only suffer a wound if your body die rolls a 1. Okay, so that's still the case. But we've got another problem. We can't go to Nyarlathotep's board because we have to come to Chognar Foggen. If we leave him with 5 minions on his board, we're just going to lose the game. We can't afford to do that. So I'm going to keep my 3 experience just in case I need to buy one of my health dice back again. We're not getting any experience for 2 to 4 minions on the board. Okay, I think we can take out... The question is, do we need the experience? And how badly do we need it? We've got a 4/4 and a 6. So I think we'll just take out the 2 weakest minions along with one of the 6s. We'll at least get 1 experience out of this turn. Because we definitely need to have an eye on potentially making an attack on Yog-Sothoth next turn. So I need to be very mindful of that. Unfortunately, we are going to let the Whisperings of Innsmouth go, so we're going to be drawing 2 extra cult cards, but we are rolling dice. We are rolling a die for Lady Luck. That's a 2, so we're going to suffer a wound again. We've got a lot of problems. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, cards coming out. We've got a cultist leader going to Arwasa, cultist leader going to Yog-Sothoth. That, we may have to go after Yog-Sothoth. Zirn for Cthulhu. A thief on the black market. A Bayaki going to Cthulhu. Things have gotten out of control here. Cthulhu going to Arwasa. Saboth the Elder going to Cthulhu as well. Deep One's going to Arwasa. Cultist leader going to Chognar Foggin. Cultist going to Arwasa. And a Heartstone. Yikes, we've got a problem. So let's start off by moving that out of the way so I can see what the quick reference is telling me. Let's see. So we're going to place everything out. We've got that. We've got a 5 on Yog-Sothoth. We've got 2 green cards going to Cthulhu. We've got 3 cards. We've got a Bayaki, a 2-dice combo, and a 3-dice combo. Two minions going to Arwasa. Cultist going to Chognar Foggin, and a minor horror going to Arwasa's board. We will purchase the thief though for 3 experience, or for no experience. Black market. Magic items with a cost of 3 or more cost 1 less. And I think we are going to need to plan on a hurry. But we also awaken horrors. And we are going to have to suffer a 3 sanity loss, which will be the madman in this case. Yeah, I think we're going to have to plan on making We're going to have to plan on making 2 attacks this turn. Also, both of the horrors on Cthulhu's board are awake. Saboth and the Zirn. I'm going to make an attack on Arwasa's board first. Actually, we might be up a creek here. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to spend 3 experience for a healing so I can get that back. And I will let the Heartstone go away. I'm going to start getting my hand ripped apart anyway. I could use that to discard a horror, which I will use that to discard the... I don't think it even really matters at this point. We're still going to have a 3 horror awake at this point. But we are short on experience, so... Actually, I don't think we can even attack either of those horrors until... We can't even attack either of those horrors, probably, until we get past the minions. Right? Now, there's protection here. I remember that. Face up horror. Let's see here. I'm just double checking, but I'm pretty sure there's protection on the awakened horror, on the awakened horrors. I'm just trying to remember how it works. Double checking awakened horrors. That's still not explaining how the protection works. The same horror for awakening, yada yada yada. Activating a run combo. It's driving me nuts because I know there's protection of some kind, but I don't remember how it works. Reroll combat dice. Oh, here we go. Protection. Cult cards on a board protect each other. Awake horrors protect the minions on the cult board, so we have to go after the horrors first. In that case, I think we are going to have to go after Cthulhu first. So basically we need to get rid of the horrors on Cthulhu's board. We are in very deep trouble here. And my stream is going nuts. I have no idea why, though. So I need a 2-dice combo to get rid of Cthulhu, and then something to get rid of Arwasa. To get rid of something on Arwasa's board. Let's see, that's a 2-2-3. Fortunately, we don't suffer a wound. So I will put a pair of 3s on the minor horror, and I'll put a 2 on the cultist to take that out. So that'll give me a total of, I think, 3 experience? Yes, 3 experience. Slay a horror, yep. Okay, so a total of 3 experience. I'm only going to take 1, though, because I'm immediately going to spend... Actually, I'm going to have to spend that and my last experience for a hurry, but I'm going to gain a hurry as well so I can make an attack on Yog-Sothoth's board. We need to get rid of... Actually, we need to roll very well on this board. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use the Asylum at Sefton to discard a horror. I'm going to take out that horror on Yog-Sothoth. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so we will get to take out Occultist Leader and the Byac key, so we've got 2 experience coming in from that. So we got 2 experience coming from that. Unfortunately, we're still up a creek without a paddle at this point. Fortunately, though, we didn't suffer a wound. I didn't need the re-rolls. Actually, I probably could have used the re-rolls there, but... Yeah, let's go ahead. We can't re-roll ones, I don't... Actually... You can't re-roll dice that re-rolled a 1, so we wouldn't have been able to re-roll this one anyway, and I'm not going to get greedy. So the gambler is going to roll to see if he can get more experience. Of course he can't, he suffers a wound instead. This is not good, so we're drawing a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see what we've got here. The boards are very much running out of control. We've got another deep one going to Yog-Sothoth. Sabaoth going to Cthulhu. Gates of Chognar Foggen. We'll get another card for that. And Investigation Sewers of Arkham. Lampeft is going to Yog-Sothoth. Shoggoth going to Chognar Foggen. Cultist Leader going to Nyarlathotep. Noth Yiddick going to Chognar Foggen. And a Byac going to Nyarlathotep. Has stopped by to say, hi, Phoenix. Afternoon, Philip. Actually, it's almost afternoon. We've got one more card coming out from the gate, though. We've got a Ritual Dagger. So I'm going to sort all of this out. Realize that we've got a catastrophe on our hands, if I'm being perfectly honest. So we have to slay a follower. In this case, that's the thief that's got to go away. The problem here... I'm going to let the Ritual Dagger go as well. So the problem we have now is we've got 2 boards. We've got 2 boards that are going to go off and cause me to lose the game here very, very shortly, within the next about 5 minutes or so. However long it takes for the turn. I've got to pay an experience to make an attack on Yog-Sothoth's board. Well, I think I'm going to go to Nyarlathotep's board. Actually, we've also only got 2 dice at this. We've got 2 dice, and the Shantax takes a 3-dice combo. We don't have the experience to gain a spell either, to gain a healing. So I think our only chance is to make an attack on Yog-Sothoth's board. We need to see, though, if we can salvage this disaster. Otherwise, the game is probably going to be over. Okay, that's a double 6. I don't hate that. So I'll put those on 2 Deep One minions. take those out. Actually, I think no matter how I do this, the problem remains, even though I've taken 2 minions off of Yogg-Sothoth's board, the problem remains that I've got 3 dice that I can get the 3rd die, but then I won't have the experience. But then I won't have the experience for the hurry that I'm going to need to mount an attack on Nyarlathotep's board as well. So, yeah, like I said, even if I spend the 3rd experience, I might as well not even bother at this point. Actually, the game is going to be over, and I will lose. Because I've got Nyarlathotep with 5 cultists on with 5 minions on his board. So that means we've awoken the crawling chaos, and we've lost the game. So that'll do it for this playthrough of the Cards of Cthulhu. A brutal game, definitely, once you add the expansions in. We just could never really get the boards under control. But I do like the expansion, though, so I think we'll probably just leave it. We'll leave it shuffled in. Plus, it's easy enough to pull the expansion cards out if I ever want to separate the expansions out again. Just look for the cards. Just look for the cards that say Veil in the lower left corner. So that'll be very easy. I'm going to get this cleaned up. And then since I forgot to do this morning, we will go ahead and crack the Advent calendar. Crack today's entry in the Advent calendar here on the channel. So let me get this all out of the way. Or at least out of the way enough. We didn't even get through the... Actually, we just barely finished the first section of the deck. But yeah, things went haywire for us very, very quickly in that game. Actually, I can probably put this in here. So bear with me just a second while I get this dealt with. There we are. I'll finish cleanup once I cut the camera. But I think we've got enough room here. We'll get the coins out of the way to crack today's entry in the Advent calendar. We're going to entry number 2. There we are. We won't have the problems. We shouldn't have the problems that we had yesterday with the die in here. I don't know why this got packed in so damn tight. Actually, let me grab my tweezers. Maybe I can use that. Maybe I can use my tweezers. Come on. There we go. And we've got in the same set that we cracked yesterday, we've got the D12 of that set. So as you can... Don't start, Jester. We've got the D12 from the D4 in there earlier. The problem is, the stupid calendar's got everything packed in way too tight. At least the first 2 dice have been packed in way too tight, but that'll do it for this playthrough of the Cards of Cthulhu. That was brutal. So we will have another game coming up a little bit later on the channel. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet, though, so stay tuned to the channel if you want to see what's coming up next. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.